In this video, I'll be sharing all the essential tools I've relied on to run my small art business this year. Whether you're a traditional or digital artist, many of these items will be useful for you as well. I hope this video helps if you've recently started your own art business or if you're considering turning a hobby into a business. You definitely don't need all of these things to get started, but these are the tools that I've gradually accumulated over time. I reinvest most of the money I earn back into my business to buy better products and technology. I'll be sharing the tools I use to create my art and products, the materials I use for packaging and shipping, as well as the technology and software that help me to run my business. I'll also share a few items that are still on my wish list. I'm a traditional artist specialising in pet and animal art, and I use both acrylic and oil paints. I'll start by talking about the products I use to create my artwork. My easel is a H-frame easel from Jackson's Art, and after using a cheaper easel for such a long time, upgrading to this one has been a game changer. It's much heavier and sturdier, and it can hold canvases of all different sizes, from small to large. It can be adjusted to lay flat horizontally, which is perfect for certain painting techniques, and it also has a convenient ledge where I keep my palette cups and a few paintbrushes within easy reach. When it comes to paintbrushes, I've accumulated quite a collection over time. A couple of my favourite brands are Rosemary Brushes and Pro Art. I have a range of different types and sizes, and I would highly recommend having a variety of both firm and soft bristles. The types of paint I use vary. For commission work, I love using the Golden acrylic brand, and my go-to colours are burnt umber, yellow ochre, ultramarine blue, cadmium red, lemon yellow, and titanium white. I have many other colours as well, and I choose specific ones depending on the animal I'm painting. For example, if I am doing a commission of a golden retriever or a golden lab, I'll often use Naples yellow. For oil paints, I primarily use water-soluble ones because they are less toxic, and the brands that I like are Cobra and Daniel Smith. When it comes to surfaces to paint on, personally I like stretched cotton or linen canvas. I did go through a phase of doing commissions on paper, but they weren't as popular as the stretched canvas paintings, and I didn't enjoy the paper surface as much to paint on. When I create designs for my greeting cards, I still sometimes use paper, but most of the time the designs come from my stretched canvas paintings. I use a variety of painting mediums, and one I frequently work with is gesso. I apply it when I stretch my own canvas and also on store-bought canvases to add an extra layer. I like the Galleria brand by Winsor & Newton. It's a white gesso, and if I want the natural colour of the canvas to show through, I use the Michael Harding clear gesso. When I work with acrylic paint, I only use water for the majority of the painting, and towards the end I apply a gloss glazing medium. For my water-soluble oil paintings, I use paint thinner for the first layer and linseed oil for the following layers. For cleaning my brushes, I use this Masters brush cleaner, which is the best one I've used, and although the pot is tiny and quite pricey, it lasts a really long time, so it's definitely worth it. To varnish my acrylic paintings, I use this gloss varnish. I also have a matte option, but I don't use it as often. I recently brought a spray varnish that I'm excited to try, and for my oil paintings, I currently use a retouching varnish. I recently purchased a grey glass palette that I prop up on my easel, keeping my paint right next to the artwork. The grey colour, being a mid-tone, helps me to judge the darks and the lights more accurately, and since it's not transparent, it's ideal for mixing. I also use a stay wet palette for my acrylic paints, which is one of my must-have tools. It keeps the paint wet and workable for days. Just be sure to put the lid back on when you're done painting. When I stretch my own canvas, I use stretcher bars of different sizes from Jackson's, along with a roll of cotton canvas, a heavy-duty staple gun, and some canvas pliers. Having a dedicated space to store paintings at various stages of completion is a great idea. Whether you're working with acrylics or oils, it's important to have a spot for wet paintings or varnished pieces that need time to dry. When I work with oils, I let the painting dry between layers, hanging them on my wall easel system in my studio. I do the same after varnishing, leaving them to dry overnight. Alternatively, you could lay them flat, but just be sure they're protected from dust. Offering frames as an additional revenue stream is a smart move. It not only enhances your artwork, but it also provides convenience for your clients since the pieces arrive ready to display. I offer 3 different colour options in the same style of frame. They are easy to attach to the painting and they look great as well. I don't currently print products from my home studio, but I do have a go-to place where I order my greeting cards, bookmarks and prints. I get my greeting cards with craft envelopes and plastic-free compostable sleeves, and for my bookmarks I have different coloured tassels which I attach using this single punch. I would highly recommend finding a reliable print shop if you are new to making products from your art. Buying all the equipment you need to print yourself can be a big expense initially, but this is something that is on my wish list. So if you do have any recommendations for home printers, then please let me know in the comments. Now moving on to supplies I use to package up my paintings. I start with a layer of acid-free tissue paper. It's important to get acid-free so that the paper doesn't react with the canvas surface in any way. I will then wrap them in brown craft paper and tie with some green twine. I include a business card and a painting care guide, and for my greeting cards, as I mentioned, they are packaged in a compostable free plastic sleeve, and for my bookmarks I found these glassine bags on Amazon which are the perfect fit. Shipping boxes are an essential part of my business. I ship paintings 2 to 3 times a month, and I do try to use recycled boxes wherever possible, ensuring that the sizes are correct, but I also keep a stack of telescopic boxes which consist of a smaller box fitting inside a larger one for added protection. It took me quite a while to find the right sizes for my different canvas dimensions, so I order the boxes in bulk and store them flat under my bed. I use paper tape to seal the boxes and fill them with protective materials before placing the painting inside. Speaking of packing tape, I use these paper ones from Cascade. They are more environmentally friendly since they don't contain plastic, and they come in beautiful designs. Plus you can even have your logo printed on them. I use cardboard backed mailers to ship my greeting cards, and if I have an order with multiple cards, I use these boxes which fit around 4 to 6 cards inside. I have these smaller cardboard backed mailers for my bookmarks. One of the first things I did when I started my business was to get some business cards printed. I also had flyers made outlining the process for ordering a custom portrait, along with the sizes and prices I offer. I use stickers featuring my logo, all of which I have printed at the same shop that handles my business cards and flyers. I manage a few social media accounts. Instagram is my main platform, and while I occasionally post on Facebook, I don't do it as often as I probably should. I also use Pinterest, which functions more like a search engine than a social media platform, and I highly recommend Pinterest for showcasing your products as it's less competitive than Google. Next, moving on to the software that I use. I'm a big advocate for having your own website. It's an excellent way to show your portfolio as well as selling your work, displaying testimonials, and even featuring a newsletter sign up and artist blog. I have a Squarespace site that I'm consistently tweaking and updating. For creating my YouTube videos, Instagram Reels and thumbnails, I rely on Canva. While they offer a free version, upgrading to the Pro version is worth considering as it has a lot of added features like the ability to download videos in 4K. For music in my YouTube videos, I use Epidemic Sound. They offer a wide selection of music and you can link it directly to your YouTube channel to avoid copyright claims. Having good photo editing software is essential in my business. I use Affinity Photo because it's much more affordable than Photoshop. You pay a one-time fee instead of a subscription. I use Affinity Photo to resize my photos for different social media platforms and also to create templates for products based on my art, like greeting cards. Next, moving on to technology, I photograph my artwork and products using my iPhone, which has a great camera. However, I would love to invest in a DSLR camera in the future for photographing artwork to turn into prints. It's definitely something that is on my wish list, so again, if you have any recommendations, please share them in the comments. I also use my iPhone to record all of my footage for my YouTube videos. For video sound, I use the Rode Wireless ME microphone, which comes with a receiver that connects to my phone and a transmitter that I attach to myself. When I need to record voiceovers, I simply use the Voice Notes app on my phone, although I am considering upgrading to a dedicated voiceover microphone. That is another item that's on my wish list. I use a softbox light for filming during the winter months when natural light is limited, and for painting I use a daylight lamp. It has a setting that mimics natural daylight, so it makes it ideal for painting when the lighting outside isn't quite right. A laptop is essential for my daily tasks like maintaining my website, contacting clients, and editing my YouTube videos. Also, I would recommend an external hard drive for storing large files. I organise folders on mine to store things like stock videos and photos. It's a great way to keep everything backed up and organised. I also have a basic printer in my studio that I use to print out reference photos and labels for my packaging. I would love to upgrade to a thermal printer someday, just to make my printing of labels more efficient.